welcome to This Is. Matt and I are both sick, however, the tech news doesn't stop. And today we got some streaming games to talk about.
Yes, GeForce Now is officially out of beta after how many years?
So we actually did a video on it 2 years ago at CES. So GeForce Now is Nvidia's game stream service. And in fact, it actually launched originally for the Mac. However, a couple years ago at CES, they then brought it out to PC, and it's been available as a beta since then. However, it is now the full official mode. You actually can do things like they actually have RTX 2080s in the cloud now, so you have ray tracing, and you can pay for it now.
Yes. So there is a free version, but for $5 a month, they have the premium version. However, you get 3 months for free when you sign up.
It's actually not a bad deal.
Not bad at all. But so with the premium version, you get the ray tracing, you get priority queuing.
Because if you're a free noob, you have to maybe wait longer to jump into a game.
Right.
But the cool thing about GeForce Now is that unlike something like Stadia, and we're about to give it a try here in a minute, is that you're not really, buying games in the cloud or whatever. You're pretty much just renting a PC. So you're logging into your Steam or your Origin or your Uplay. You're playing all the same games that you already have, all the same save files and everything, and you're streaming it to whatever you'd like. So we just signed up for the Founders membership, which again, to be fair, $5 a month and 3 free months actually is not bad.
There's actually a huge amount of really big AAA titles that are missing because Rockstar isn't on here, EA's not on here, Square Enix isn't on here.
And to be fair, the free plan is actually totally viable. Now, yes, you miss RTX, but one of the things that's actually really nice about it is you still have an hour record limit or an hour play limit.
Play limit, which works if you're playing it on a mobile phone or whatever. That's the perfect amount of time. If you're playing this killing time in between class, you're on the bus or whatever. But if you're trying to say game at a friend's house for an hour at a time, that's a pretty short limit. I don't think I think that's bad. Theoretically, you could just jump back in, but say right now I think the server is capped at 600,000 or something like that. So let's say there's 700,000 people trying to play. That means there's 100,000 people ahead of you that you have to wait until their time limit has expired before you can get back into the game. Now, I used to play WoW Classic, and I remember waiting hours at a time to try and get back into a game after, logging in. I have no interest in doing that. I don't know how popular this is going to be, but if I have to wait to play the games like that, I'm done.
I paid for Founders, and by paying for Founders, I mean I'll pay for Founders in 3 months when my trial is done. So let's give it a try.
That's fair.
The settings are really straightforward. You do have a couple of data options, so you can do balanced, data saver, or what I would really want to try is competitive, which apparently is less bitrate, but it's a little bit higher or lower latency, I suppose. It says the lowest latency during gameplay, but also you can customize it. So you can change your max bitrate, which I believe goes all the way up to 50 megabits if you want.
They actually recommend 50. So they say it's somewhere between 15 to 35 to get your 1080 60p. We have great internet here.
Yeah.
But not many people have 50 megabits per second internet.
Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it on balance just to give it a try. I'm gonna launch a game here. The cool thing is when it comes to installing, theoretically, it actually should be really quick because a lot of the games, not all of them are cached.
It's instant.
If I jump into F1 specifically, I'm running on a Tesla P40. So it's actually not an RTX 2080, but I think the P40 has RTX cores. Although what's weird is I'm running it 1280 by 800. Oh, we just got a spotty connection warning. I have actually played F1 on this laptop on ultra low settings before because since it doesn't have a dedicated graphics card, that may have just been my Steam settings automatically coming over. I will say, just scrolling through menus, this seems perfectly reasonable.
So this looks fine to me, and it kind of has the same appeal that I had with Stadia. At what point is it good enough? So compared to a PC or even a console, these are not going to be better video qualities. No one's expecting that, but it's a level of good enough.
So for reference, I've played this game at 30 FPS on this laptop natively. It feels significantly slower than what I'm getting here. Now, mind you, I am getting some stutters. So in fact, it just stuttered a little bit there, which might be kind of hard to see on YouTube. Yep, see, I'm stuttering right now.
Yeah.
But I will say, without a doubt, this is a better experience than running it natively on the laptop. So we are playing on a very good Wi-Fi connection. So we're playing on gigabit Wi-Fi, but it's still Wi-Fi. And ideally, oh God, this is bad. Should we actually switch over to the optimized mode and see what happens?
Sure. So we'd love to compare one-to-one, either Red Dead Redemption or something like that, comparing the two services, but you can't, because I think the only game that really is on both is Destiny, I think. With Stadia, the game library is garbage.
First impressions using the full real version of GeForce Now. Good, not great. So this is the competitive mode.
Which, to be fair, is what I feel like a lot of esports players do, is they crank down the resolution to get to get more FPS.
This actually feels a lot better. Image quality is bad, but you know, if I was playing on my phone, it actually probably wouldn't be that bad.
I really think, though, this looks like we got in a time machine and went to PS1.
I mean, we're definitely playing at like 640p or something. Competitive mode's kind of tough to recommend because like it looks way worse, but it does feel better. I'm not so sure how much of this is to the fact that they're letting the game run at the full, like, what, 180 frames per second or whatever. We could plug this in and play over Ethernet, but I just don't think that's a fair compromise. Like, that's just no one's gonna do that.
The people who are gonna have a large Steam library are the same people who are gonna have a gaming PC at home with a wired connection. So why, again, go through the middleman?
Yeah.
This is meant for gaming on the go. The guy who has a $200 PC, he doesn't have a gaming PC, for $5 a month, you can game now and just buy your Steam games through this, and that's a good scenario.
So we've now switched over to Stadia with Destiny. So this is the exact same setup, the Dell XPS laptop. We're running inside the Edge browser, although generally speaking, you would use Chrome. So what's interesting when you compare GeForce Now to Stadia is that GeForce Now, you do not pay for any games. So you purely pay for the streaming service if you'd like, or you can use the free version. Whereas with Stadia, there is a free version, and actually, is it out yet, or it's coming out soon, right?
It's coming out soon.
So right now, you do have to pay a monthly fee for Stadia Pro, as well as purchase the games. However, once the games are available, you can do the free version.
Having played this a lot on PlayStation, this feels exactly the same to me.
It looks just like you're playing on a console right now.
I don't see any tearing. I don't see any compression.
Yeah.
This looks great. It feels great.
So I guess one advantage with Destiny specifically is that you're running at 1080p 60 as opposed to 30 frames per second on console. So it is definitely sort of a hybrid between the next-gen consoles and the current-gen consoles on that front. At the end of the day, streaming games is not a replacement for a console, and it is not a replacement for a PC. It is an addition. And I think that there's only so much market share available. Like, someone's not going to say, oh, you know, I'm gonna go throw my PlayStation in the garbage because Stadia is so good. Or I'm gonna go throw my gaming PC in the garbage because GeForce Now is so good. You are playing these streaming games realistically when you are on the go.
Yes.
Or if you have like very low-end hardware where you can't actually play these games at full settings like you would on a console or PC. So after spending some time with both Stadia as well as GeForce Now, I think that there are a couple of key takeaways. First of all, I appreciate that you do not really need to pay for GeForce Now, especially if you already have games. But of course, there are a lot of games such as Fortnite that are free to play. I'm gonna give GeForce Now a little bit of credit, not much, but a little bit of credit, considering that this is day one. A lot of people are probably flooding the service. They are probably having some bandwidth issues. And I know in previous demos of GeForce Now, it actually has performed a little bit better than this, but Stadia right now actually is a better gaming experience. Still though, it's a tougher sell, and until that free plan comes out, it is really hard to recommend that over GeForce Now.
Right. The one thing that I do really like about Stadia over GeForce is that it just works on Chrome. You don't have to download anything, whereas this you do. I mean, you can go to your local library computer or whatever. That's a useful feature, but again, until they get that library up, it's just it's not a service that I can even recommend, and I'm one of their biggest supporters. I got my Founders Edition right there on the stage here, and it's gonna stay there until they improve their library.
So, I'm very curious, what do you guys think about GeForce Now versus Stadia? Let us know in the comments below. Definitely be sure to subscribe to This Is. Until next time, Matt, are you ready to go back to PlayStation 1 graphics?
I mean, that's what we just played with F1.
I know,
so
I'm gonna play more of that now.
If they had Tony Hawk's on here, oh.